Going. Today's Film Friday is brought to you by Tiger's Milk Bars. It's what I ate for lunch today. They're tasty, they're nutritious, they're delicious. I'm not being paid to say that. They just truly are. Tiger's Milk. Go get yourself one.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. All right, we're going to watch Canada versus the United States, FIVB World Cup 2019. Kind of trying to stay with the most recent Olympic level matches that we've got. This was a good one. This is a 5-setter that USA ends up winning, but a lot of kind of back and forth play, some pretty creative plays throughout this game that we're going to go over. The thing that I'm focused on today that we'll start and we'll watch two specific players is how to play when things aren't perfect, right? And so we'll start there and just think, like, you can think of the perfect play in your head, right, from the pass to the set, so on one block or no block or whatever it may be, and just work backwards, right? What does a non-perfect play look like to you? And feel free to unmute yourself and answer or raise your hand. I'm going to start with Lucas Miller because he is in the building, and I'm going to go to you. Unmute yourself. Give me an example of something that's not perfect for a play.
Shanking the first ball on the pass. Just
sure, right?
Anywhere
right
not
easy one. Easy one. Pass isn't perfect. It's off the net. It's shot far, beyond the antenna, whatever it may be. Okay, that's a good one. What else? What other things could be not ideal, not perfect? Aaron, yeah.
The setter gets the first ball.
Setter doesn't get. Say it again.
Setter gets the first ball.
Okay, setter gets taken out on the first ball. Yeah, sure. Maybe in transition, they send a free ball quickly across the net. Setter's taken out. Now who's taking it, right? Okay, that's a good one. What else? What else could be a not ideal, not perfect situation? Let's see if anyone else has got one. Zephyr, you got one?
Like, there's like an error on the set, like the set's too tight or too off or something like that.
Yeah, great. Right. Any contact on the ball, there could be something that's not perfect. Right. Maybe the set goes inside or goes too far. Great example. Other things that might not be perfect. Maybe you're going up against a super physical blocker, or you're going up against a 7-footer, or you're going up against whatever. Maybe you're a little bit injured, right? Whatever it could be. Lots of different things that are not the perfect scenario that could happen in terms of how you play. And the reason I talk about it is because there's two good examples, one for the USA and one for Canada, of players that they get a lot of like not perfect situation plays, whether it be, a tough pass out of system. They see a lot of triple blocks, a lot of double blocks, those types of moves. And they're both not the most physical per se. Right. So the first one for Canada, it's their captain. His name's Nicholas Hogue. He's basically the Olympian level old man volleyball player. He's got an absolute cannon of an arm. He's 6'7", so he's still a big dude. He's not the 6'11" guys that they have, but he is he's not a mega jumper. He's not the world's tallest. He's not the world's fastest. He hits it hard, but he does a bunch of just different things that help him get into a better position to score or help his team or recycle and get a better opportunity back that shows up in this game. And then we've watched USA 3 times now. I want to see if anyone knows, who do you think I'm going to choose, who I would say is for the USA, the guy that kind of does this, takes some of the junk balls and kind of just controls it, doesn't make a ton of mistakes. Anyone know? Sindhu says Matt Anderson. Matt Anderson does get a lot of junk balls, but he's definitely a physical freak of nature. So I'm not including him on this one because he is a 6'11" bomber. Who's a more undersized guy? Wade?
Maga Tatia, I was going to say.
Yeah, Maga Tatia, exactly. That's exactly right. All right, so a little bit more undersized. Garrett, Miles is his younger brother. Garrett Maga Tatia is 6'5". A little bit more undersized, right? Does some different things with the ball that we've seen already in the past. Those super quick sets to the outside where he kind of sets up the throw down. Different ways where he, as a undersized Olympic level outside hitter, can find ways to put himself and put his team in a better situation. So super quick plays, using the throw down, right? That tip throw rather than, taking a little bit longer developing swing. He'll do some shots and rolls. He'll hit high into the hands. He'll take care of the ball in those trouble situations. So those are the first two guys that we're going to watch. We'll go ahead and share the screen. And we're going to start with, who do I got up here first? All right, we got Hogue. All right, so this is the Canadian. Number 4 is their captain, okay? So we're going to go ahead and watch. This is all of his swings, and he's got some great moments. And, of course, whenever you're the out-of-system guy, you're going to get blocked and make some errors as well, but does a nice job for his team in these trouble situations, right? Just chiseling the block in a couple scenarios. You got triple here. Hits the edge, Taxman Anderson. Not necessarily from a super high point, but he's quick. He's challenging the outside of the block, not going into the heart of it. Again there, another one. Okay, triple block situation. High ball, waits on it. High into the hands, aggressive. If that ball doesn't go out of bounds, it's an easy cover for Canada to reset. Little windmill action. Again, challenging that block. He's their OH1. So in row 1, when they actually flip to the other side and Canada's the closest side to us, you'll see kind of some of the weirder things that he does with his approach, especially from the right side. Yeah. Challenges the block a lot, right? So he's in those out-of-system situations, just like this, when Mitch Stahl gets him, he's going to get blocked sometimes, and you got to be okay with that. You can kind of just see, right, where are all of his sets coming from? The setter is all over the court. He's getting balls from, 25 feet off, all the way from the opposite sideline, all kinds of weird stuff. Not a ton of in-system balls for him. They will use him a lot actually on the Bic. It's pretty effective there. Lots of challenge to the hands. We'll chop down the line. This is a very casual dig from the Canadian libero right here. Love that play. Just the disrespect of walking through after gator digging Magatatia. Here, all right. So this is the example we're talking about that I mentioned. So here's row 1. He's set up, and just watch how quickly he tries to get to the net. It's a little bit of a kind of a choppy approach, but his goal here is just get to the tape quickly. And when the block develops, feel it, challenge it. Sorry, I chopped that up a little bit. Just challenge the edge of it. Not super aggressive there. He kind of goes off speed and just hits that corner of the block and creates a little bit of a wedge. Is that high out of system? Okay. Challenging high on the triples. Nothing low on the triple block situations. Got the hands there, ends up getting a touch. And a nice little overpass throw down. Okay, so that's Hogue. Got him, got a feel for him now. So now we'll go over to, this is Magatatia. All right, so this is the USA version of it. And we've seen him before, so we'll kind of get a feel for him. I'm going to rewind back to this one. Okay, so he got 2 swings in a row here. Let's just take stock of where it's at. Ball goes to Max Holt. He gets blocked. Okay, there's 2 hitting options here, kind of. Matt Anderson's still somewhat in the play and effective. There's no Bic because Russell is out, didn't have time to transition. Holt is stuck at the net. So the really only option here is Magatatia, right? And so they get a well-formed double block on him. Right. And so he's pretty smart in this scenario, notices and feels it, throws it off, gets a nice reset, gives himself a bigger runway on this approach. High ball, challenges high on the swing, gets that little bit of an edge and seam between the middle there. Right. So knowing when the opportunity is there to go after it and feeling when it isn't. All right. So this is the next swing he gets in the second set. He gets a transition, and watch this play. Watch what opens up here. What's different from this play that you see right here than from the last one? Anyone can unmute themselves and comment. What's different on this play? Just watching this screenshot.
More people ready to hit.
Okay. Which players, Aaron, specifically?
All the, I can't really see 12, but 2 running a bic maybe, and then I think that's 1 running, I think a D ball, and both opposite, or
Yeah.
both the outside and I don't know if the middle. I don't think he can
I'll
hit.
rewind so
He
you can
doesn't
see
have
what the middle looks like. Is the middle available?
I can't tell right now. Oh, yeah, he is. I
Okay.
couldn't
Yeah.
really see
Maybe a
in front.
little choppy to see it. Yeah. He's getting up, right? And so the thing that you can kind of notice too with that's exactly what I want you guys to notice, right? When you have more attacking options, when the odds are stacked into your favor, that's an advantage, right? So now that the middle, Jeff Gendricks, the middle for USA here, he's getting up and he's available, the other opposing middle blocker has to respect that, at least for a heartbeat. As Christensen's setting the ball, he's got to respect it for a heartbeat and think, I got to get ready to stop this middle. And once he goes quick over the top outside, now you've got a later or just a little bit later middle blocker that can open up a seam. Okay, so I'll rewind all the way back so we can get a full view. All right, so just a little bit more of a seam and he can power through. The key thing here, he keeps it all hot. Even as he goes seam, it's still a high seam into that 1-6 seam rather than thinking low and bouncing the ball. Getting the bic involved. There's his power tip. You see that mostly in transition for both players. Got jammed up a little bit there. Tough approach. Okay, great example here. We're going to full rewind. Okay, so you get a nice dig from a middle blocker in mid-stall here. Micah is setting this ball from area 5, literally parallel with the outside hitter right now. Magatatia tracks it over the top. High tip into the heart of the hands, not low where they can throw it down, but into the hands high. Recycle is easy on Russell. They give the ball right back to him. Bad swing on that one, but you can kind of see the idea of, right, when you get those tough situations where you've got your setter setting from off of the court all the way back at 25 feet, we don't need you to take a rip, but if the setter can get you onto the net and now you're able to tip, can you keep that tip high? And if they pull their hands, now you can kind of jam down. If they do keep their hands up, can you tip high into those hands and recycle the ball back where we get an easier pass to play off of, all right? Again in the bic, nice in the gap. We'll watch this bic one more time. Little transition. Setter's setting the ball from about 10 feet there, and he basically becomes the middle attacker once that ball gets pulled off the net. There's the casual dig again. Challenging high, creating some kind of opportunity for him. Aaron Russell kind of took a heat seeker to the shoulder on that play. There's that recycle high swing again. Power tip, always keeping the trajectory of your tip flat and low, right? Flat and downward. Sorry, not flat and low, flat and down. So contacting high, but as you tip, if you get blocked and it hits hands, that ball's popping back up. It's not going straight down, right? There's a nice tempo ball. Got a net on Canada. Nice aggressive out of system swing, gets the overpass for Matt Anderson to put away. Right, you can kind of just see all of these opportunities, right, that Magatatia is getting. Right, see where the setters are at, 20-ish feet, 15 feet, 10 feet, right, pushed onto the sideline, all these different plays. It's all about just watching his approach here too, how patient that he can be to see the set, let it develop, and then go attack. Here's a good one. We'll rewind back. Okay, a little bit of a defensive play here. find a way to get something for the hitter to hit, chops that ball back across over the top of the block into a gap, right? Even if that ball gets dug, it's a challenging play. Maybe the setter, if he's in the right, in a better spot there, digs that ball, takes out the setter, right? So good little intelligence plays from him. All right. There's a good little Yahtzee. Transition ball again. Okay. All right, we're going to pause. We'll come out of the share for a second. Throw your video on if you got it so I can see you and you can raise your hand. What do you guys notice from their approaches? I talked a little bit about it at the end there. What do you notice on their approaches for those two players, for Hogue and for Magatatia? How big are their runways? Who knows what a runway is? Wade, you're raising your hand? Yeah, go ahead.
Magatatia kind of looked like he had a really small approach. Like he was more close to the 10-foot line when he was starting his approach.
Yeah, I would call it, I'd call it compact. Definitely a compact approach, right? So he's at about, he's getting to 10 feet to 12 feet. There's even those plays when he gets into like the power tip mode that we see, he's not even getting past 10 feet, right? As he transitions, whether it's off blocker to get underneath for tip coverage, and as he runs back out towards his pin, he kind of stays inside. He's just running along the net, being open, almost acting like a middle blocker so that he can, Micah, the setter, can fire it into him and he can either power tip into the angle, open seam, or if the setter or the right side blocker against him tries to dive back into the middle, then he can keep it down the line. So kind of those designed plays on how they transition. But you don't need, you don't need 20 feet of space every time in order to swing, right? You got to be able to do both. How about, what did you guys see when they came out of serve receive? Let's go to Luke Fiera. Where are you at? He just disappeared. Luke, did you just leave when I called on you? That was quite the move. All right, Duras, you're up. What did you see in serve receive?
They were kind of just trying to, instead of forcing it to a perfect spot, they were just getting it somewhere where it was like more possible to get more. I don't really know how to explain it, but like.
Let's talk specifically about their approach. What did you see in serve receive on their approach?
It was, I feel like all their approaches are more compact.
Okay. Because a lot of these balls that they're getting, right, that we watch, it's, passes off the net, right? They're at 20 feet, they're at 15 feet, they're at 10 feet, so on and so forth. What did you notice when those, on those types of plays, what does their approach look like? Hopefully your approach looks something like it as well.
Like trying to get your feet more under the ball instead of behind it so you can have more range.
Okay. Yeah, getting a little bit more underneath it. The other point I want to hammer in is just how patient they are as the setter's releasing, right? Especially out of serve receive, they're in a position where they're already back on the runway. So they're doing their little transition, right? They're getting out towards the sideline, but their eyes are looking back to that setter, and they're not rushed. They're waiting. They're letting the set develop, especially when they know it's going to be out of system and they know they're going to have a triple block against them, right? They're trying to put themselves in a situation where they can see that ball out in front, go up high, challenge into the high hands, right? If that ball gets tight on the net, give yourself a, opportunity to wipe, opportunity to tip high into the hands for an easier recycle, things like that, right? So just looking at their approaches is another thing that at the highest level of the game, they're doing a really good job of being super efficient, super patient, and putting themselves in a spot where they can do something well. And none of them are perfect, right? We saw each of them either get blocked or each of them make a long hitting error trying to challenge high. You can't expect perfection when you're playing at this level, but you can do everything you can to put yourself in the best possible spot, right? So that was a good one. What else? What about shot selection? What did you guys see from, what did you see from these two guys scoring in untraditional ways? What was their kind of their bread and butter? Eric, yeah.
I think they hit into the block a lot. They got really good at kind of chipping off the block and hitting it out.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely a good example of it. Where were they hitting the block specifically? I'm going to go to, is that Owen Santiago or Owen Smith right there? I think that's Owen Santiago. Owen Santiago, I'm going to you. No, I'm not. Spencer Mack, I'm going to you.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. Where are they hitting the block? Where are they challenging the block?
Like sides of the block or like top to like tool the block.
Yeah, a lot of edges for sure. Right. A lot of edges. Oh, Owen, I see you typing. Okay, good. I thought Calvin and Halo were recruiting the 14 Premier team and just telling them to leave the video off. It's going to give you a DQ for the Bay in Place challenge. Good. Yeah. So challenging the edges of the block for sure. Kind of said it as well. As they go through to tip, they're not tipping low across the tape, right? They're playing against too good of blockers to be able to give that type of free point up. They're going up high. They're challenging into the hands. If they've got the leverage to wipe, they're doing it. If the hands are still there, they're going into the hands and off and letting that ball just ricochet back, kind of like an easy coverage type of opportunity in play. But they're doing everything in their power to try and balance, the situation that they're in and how they can turn it into something better, right? If you're always thinking score first, that's great. But as you play and you get experience with it, you start to understand, and you guys know the scenarios where your chances of scoring a point here are low. So how can I better this ball instead? Okay. Anything else? What other things do you guys notice from these guys? How are they, as guys that aren't the biggest jumpers or the biggest players naturally, how are they maximizing what they do? What do you think you see? Wade, go ahead, give me one.
They had like really great vision and like just really great placement on the ball as well. Just like always putting it away from the defenders.
Yeah. They know the spots on the court that they can challenge, right? And most of you guys know the spots as well. I think the thing that I really like from Magatia in particular, just because I've watched him a lot more, is he does a really good job of whenever he's approaching and attacking the ball, he is always in his position where you can kind of see his body is angled up towards that corner, that cross-court corner. So from that position, he can rip it high, hard into that cross-court corner, just going straight away. He can drop that thumb down and go even sharper if it's available. He can do the power tip, sharp and low. He can cut back down the line. You kind of saw that last kill he got where he just got up high and just 60% chopped it into that 1-2 seam. But it all starts from his position of where he's at and showing that he can hit. I've got this whole fan covered, and I can choose what I'm going to hit based off of what I see and what I feel. Right, so that's definitely part of it. I see a lot of guys where you face where you're going to hit. If you want to go hard cross court, you line up your body to the hard cross court and you go straight away. I want to go line, so I turn my body and I go here, right? And so the ability to kind of show every option from the same originating point is one of the cool things I think that these guys are doing at a really high level. Okay, good. Since this was a 5-setter and it was a really competitive 5th set, I just want to watch the 5th set. We'll probably stop about halfway to chat, and then we'll finish it out. Okay, so we'll go back to the game here, and we will just go to normal serve mode. Pardon me a second while I get it set up. Alrighty. Okay, USA serving 0-0. Great little scramble play to start. Non-setter setting. And there's your boy Hogue. Went for the high hands but missed it. You can tell right away what he was trying to get there. Got him. Jeff Jendrick playing middle for USA there. 3 swings in a row. Setters, that's an example, right? He had a tough air, got blocked, and he went right back to him again. There's a reason why he has a stripe on the bottom of his number. He is their team captain. He is a heartbeat for them. Got to get him going in a big game like this. Tough ball, Magatia out of system. Nice dig here. Oof, big block. Okay. I hope you all saw the big block, but I want you to see another thing here, just a volleyball IQ play. Okay. Watch what happens to Anderson. Okay. So I'm freezing here, right? You see he is on the ground. He is taken out. Okay. The middle is going to be a tough option for this play. So watch what Aaron Russell, number 2, does in this situation. What did he do? Anyone feel free to answer. What do you think he was doing there?
He slid over to cover the D ball so like the block can commit to going right.
Yeah, he tried to spread the block by becoming the D ball option there, right? Rather than just giving up, Magatia is the only option. He tried to turn over to a D. So just an IQ play. Did they set him? No. Canada pushing a couple points. Shoji actually had a very tough passing match this match. Contributed in a lot of other ways, but had a couple balls catch him when he normally does not. There's Magatia contributing in another way. There's a good one for you setters. Yikes. Look out. Back to his traditional 5-to-5 cross-court jumper. Yeah. USA pushing a couple back. There's Hogue on the Bic. Nice touch by middle on defense there. There's a good out-of-system example. Okay, here's Aaron Russell. There's that transition play. All right, let's watch this one again. Okay, super tough set for Aaron Russell here, right? Over the top of his head, hitting from 10 feet. Live to fight another day. Picks up the tip and off blocker. Super quick approach. Never gets behind the 10-foot line. Designed, just give me the ball so I can jam. Finds the wipe. Gets themselves a better position to swing or better position to score. Colin lift. I love the Canadian coach. He's got the greatest power stance in all of the land, in case you want to watch someone. You won't be able to see him now. It's too bad. Nice play by Mitch Stahl there. Middles, here's a good one for you guys in terms of a read. Pretty much a perfect pass. Stays patient, dives back in. Takes up a lot of space. Football. Shoji got caught on that one, a little off speed. Trouble play. Jammed in, nice touch by Stahl for a transition opportunity. Into the Bic and missed it. Good chance. Good chance. I said I was going to pause it halfway through, but we're going to run with it. Serve and sub in. Find a way. Pushing through that block. Net on Jendrick. Trouble play. Let's see what Magatua's got. Housed. There's my Canadian coach. Yes, bring the fire. Nice pass by Shoji here. Sticks it. And a great swing by Matt Anderson. Magatutia forcing that one. Gets his team the ball back for the kill. Match point. Bang. We'll watch that ending point because it's a nice little exclamation. Ooh. See what they do here? Watch what Canada's block is here. Trap right. Send them 2 guys to the right. Right, they're leaving their front row outside to say, you got Jendrick. We think they're going to go outside to Russell here. Go get him. Jendrick, not a fan. All right. There's a couple plays I tagged that I want you guys to see that I'm just going to go over quickly. So this is a nice example of kind of a pushed Bick into space. Some people call it a 30. Just good use of the white zone, middle of the court, right? You can kind of see Hogue coming down the gap between Mitch Dahl and Micah Christensen, right? A nice opening here. So a good example, something to play with, back row outsides, getting into space and just taking it right up the gut. This is a great heads up play here. Okay, so Canada is pushing this set. Go ahead and we're just gonna watch from here. Shoji came on, a little bit of a kind of a miscue on the previous play. They're taking their time. They're talking about it. Ref blows the whistle. Canadian guy who normally jump serves just pops in a deep float, and they get the ace. That's to force set 5. All right, so even at the highest level of the game, just being opportunistic. All right, let me see one. There's one more. Oh, yeah, casual dig. I'll replay this one because I love it. Whoop. Thank you. No problem. All right, and this is a good one too. All right, so setters, here's a little fun one we found from this. Little juke, fake the swing, pulls up, Shoji gets a nice touch on it. But that's just a little fun one I found as well that I like for you guys. Stop the share, pull yourselves out, throw on the video for our closing thoughts on this one. Start your videos. I don't even believe that the 14 premier team's here anymore now. Luke, Micah, are you even real people, or are you just fake people joining to try and get your teammates extra points? All right. What do we think? Watching outside hitters, yes, watching those guys play, but just watching those 2 teams in general in that 5th set. What did you guys take away from it or see? Pretty close, right? 15-13, close it out. That's about as good as it gets for a 3rd setter. I'm going to go to Tyler Alden. What did you see?
I just saw that they weren't just smashing it every time. They were being smart about where they were positioning the ball.
Okay, yeah, definitely being intelligent with that, right? Knowing the openings on the court, knowing what's available. Good. Toby Lee, what'd you see?
Oh, they got to the net really fast when there was a tight set. So whenever there's a tight set, they got to the net really fast and they could swipe in either direction. Yeah,
got their I forget who said it earlier, but getting their feet, I think it was Drew Ross, getting your feet underneath the ball, being in a position where you can hit with the range or throw or wipe or swipe. Yeah, for sure. That was definitely a good one. I think that's clearly part of their strategy, right? And those out of system plays is, at least with Magatatia, they don't want to put him at 10 feet to let him go up and just try and hit over people. Matt Anderson, yeah, maybe they'll let him try and just swing over people with power. Magatatia, they want to get in a position where he can kind of out maneuver people with his finesse game. Okay. Who else we got? Paul on. What'd you see?
Like I saw that.
He's typing it. Okay, I'm waiting. Your mic's not working. All right. You type. I'll go to someone else. Luke Vieira. Oh, my goodness, your video's on. Luke, what did you notice? I don't hear Luke either. Your mic's not working. At least I see your face. Liam Popejoy, what did you see? Am I 3 for 3 on picking people who have no mics? Coach John, what did you see? I know your mic works.
I like the term you were using earlier, and you said volleyball IQ, right? And so I would argue that Hogue on the Canada side, his first option is hands. So it reminds me kind of like, this is going to show my age here, but Bob Stavertlik on the '88 Olympic team. He was the primary passer because Karch was on the team and no one would serve Karch, so he took 90% of the passes. But as a hitter, I was very, very surprised. Like maybe in a match, you'd maybe see 3-4 balls hit the ground. Everything was chiseled off people's hands. And that's just, like you said, volleyball IQ, knowing what your abilities are. Bob Savertlik wasn't Karch. He wasn't going to jump 40 inches out of the gym. But what he was able to do is have good vision, keep that ball in front of him, and be able to recognize what people were doing on the block and just literally chiseling off the top, off the side, and seams. And
yep.
I could count in a match like maybe 5 on one hand how many balls touched the ground. They were all just literally off the block and out. So at 6'7", Hogue's trying to knock these balls off the hand. He's not even trying to hit down. Mwanga Tutia, volleyball IQ, man. How many different types of shots does he have in one sequence, right? He'll try to jam it. He'll try to spatch it kind of deep. He'll kind of roll. I like those displays of kind of using your brains and knowing what your abilities are.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to show those two guys for you guys to see. Like, there's different ways to play, right? Of course, having a super strong power game, being able to hit with power and hit with range and all that good stuff, and to be really big is an awesome thing to watch, but may not be realistic for us per se at the level or the age that you guys are at, right? But challenging the block, right? The blocks that you guys are going up against are not the Canadian national team, right? You can challenge hands so much. The block is your friend. And these guys do a great job of demonstrating that, right? The best kill in volleyball is the one that goes nowhere near to the defense. So if you can ricochet off the hands into the stands, no one's playing defense out there. Those are great balls for you guys to take advantage of. Josh Thompson, what did you notice?
Well, like you said, like Matt Anderson, they're all really. He's like a tall player, so he can they can just hit really high. But I just thought that DeFalco, he's always runs really quick sets. So Magatia, very, very quick sets that we always run, and he'd always just try to use the block as much as he could. Even though he's not like the tallest player and jumps highest, he's just very aggressive what he does. He always has like a vision of what he's trying to do.
Yeah, totally agree. Completely. Theron Roulette, what did you see?
Basically, the one thing that I took away from was that, the U.S. has Micah Christensen, Matt Anderson, Eric Shoji, considered the top players in the world, and they get taken to 5 by people you don't really even know on Canada. So whether that be, transferring to you're playing Balboa 1's team or some really good team that you don't think you can beat, you always have a chance as long as you play together, and that's how all these European teams in Canada play against when it's considered their backups or their stars aren't playing. They just play together and things like that. And they go to 5 with US, who was practically playing their starters.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is a great observation, right? Of if you are playing really well together as a team, it doesn't matter who's out there or who you're playing against, as long as you are taking advantage of the opportunities you're given, right? If you're 6'5", Garrett Magatatia, doesn't matter. You go out there and you succeed with what you know you can be successful with. You play your game. You don't try and play Matt Anderson's game. You don't try and play, whoever it may be on the other side's game. Kyle Chamberlain and Parker Schaefer, what did you see from middle blockers in those final sets? Kyle, you can go first.
I saw a lot of effort plays, especially when they're in like the back row. That one where he got the one-handed up, that gave them a chance.
Mitch
and
Stahl's
just-
dig.
Yeah, a lot of smart positioning when when they weren't able to run like a true 1 or a true 3 where they just got up still, so they had an option.
Yeah, for sure. Parker.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. Just their defensive positioning, just having that presence there to like sometimes like get tips off the block, stuff like that. And also just always being up on sets, just having that presence there to maybe draw a block, like 1 or 2 blockers to you. It's like open up your other hitters. It's really important. So
yeah, that's great. That's great offensive thought for middles, right? Middles always trying to be available, trying to make yourself an option to kind of either draw the block, pull the block, or just open it up a little bit, right? Outside hitters or right side hitters, you guys should be the biggest proponents of your middles being set and established. An established middle blocker is your best friend, right? Because it opens up so much more opportunity for you as a hitter. And same thing, middle blockers, you should be your setter's best friend when they're front row, saying, get your dump established, right? Show them that your dump is there. Pull that left side blocker for me so I can start to just go one-on-one against this other middle, and I can take whichever side I want, right? Those are the things that you want, right? And then setters, tell your libero, get your perfect pass established so I can dump, right? Then everything falls in place. Yeah, so just good little examples for you guys watching that. A pretty high-level match across the board. You know, they're not perfect, right? When you watch that game, it's very similar to a lot of the game that you guys are playing. Big difference is they don't take breaks. There's no real mental lapses. Maybe one, right? I showed you one because I wanted you to see that even they are, not perfect in that sense. They had a mental lapse on serve receive of taking their time. But there's not much that you're going to catch that they're not, on top of and ready to go with. It's going to be a lot of teams forcing mistakes, forcing the issue. Any other closing thoughts? Anyone's got? I don't see any raised hands. Okay, throw your video on because I'm going to take my screenshots now so that I can calculate the winning team. Neil, I'm sorry, it's looking like Halo and Calvin are going to take this one, but nonetheless, I still think you're going to finish on the podium. So nice work.
I thought I might.
Today is the last day of the Bay and Place Challenge for anyone that did not know what was transpiring today. Taking screenshots. Keep your smiling faces up there. Andrew, you got to fix that face, man. Smile. There you go. Nice job, Julian. You're looking happy as can be. Nice work. Okay, that is the end of this week's Film Friday. Nice work for Bay and Place. If you participated, I appreciate it. Don't forget, Tiger's Milk bars. They're delicious. Eat them. Coach John, you got anything?
Thanks for coming out all these Fridays. Really appreciate it. It's a lot of work for Coach Matt to get all this prepared. So a lot of learning.
We'll keep it going. Next week, we're taking a break from book club, but we'll have another book the following week. Coach John and I are texting about it currently. But beyond that, adios. Happy Friday.
Thanks, everybody.